36th Congressional District is considered the aerospace capital of the world and a critical economic engine of the vitality of the region, supporting thousands of private and public sector jobs. Congressman Jane Harman was a strong supporter and friend to the South Bay aerospace industry. What ideas would you have to fend off future base closing efforts against the LA Air Force Base and sustain Department of Defense budgets for military and space programs important to the private sector aerospace jobs in the South Bay region?
Well, I'm not a defender of aerospace. I actually lived it. I think it was mentioned earlier in my bio that my father was a career Air Force officer. He was a fighter pilot. Some of you who know me know that I have an uncle who was an astronaut. He flew in 3 shuttle missions. I'm a graduate of the Air Force Academy. I was a maintenance officer in an F-16 squadron. So when you talk, one of my first, let me give you just a tidbit here. When I was a little kid, I remember one of my first memories was my mom rushing us out to the backyard and looking up at the sky. And there would an F-4 would fly over and wobble its wings, and she'd say, "That's your dad." So when we talk about aerospace, literally I've spent the first 26 years of my life in aerospace. I'm the candidate who has the rubber meets the tarmac experience. 2 things. That means, number 1, I understand how important it is that aerospace stay vital in this district, and that for America, the ability to project force is really the end-all be-all. We cannot let that go, which means, number 1, we have to keep things like the Aerospace Corporation here, because that is a vital aspect of the R&D for our nation's defense. We have to keep that here. Number 2, I know, because I worked on a flight line, and I knew when I pulled a box out of an F-16 that was broken, it wasn't going to some big corporation somewhere. It was going to a mom-and-pop shop in Hawthorne, or in Gardena, or in Salt Lake City, or someplace out there in the world where somebody had a little business that fixed that box. It's important that we keep the Air Force Base here because all of those businesses are around it. The 3rd point, I also know that the spin-offs from the Air Force Base are incredible. Hughes, Hughes started from, DirecTV started from a bunch of Hughes engineers. The satellites that they put into space are $300 million satellites. I was out this morning out visiting Robinson Helicopter. Everybody knows Robinson Helicopter in Torrance, 900 employees. I don't know if it's a small business. It's actually a pretty big business. Started Hughes. Mr. Robinson was a Hughes engineer. Let me give you a 3rd example. I went out and interviewed a guy. I toured his business called Icon Aircraft. You've never heard of it. He was a fighter pilot, a friend of a friend. He started a business that was actually a project at the Stanford Business School. He developed a product, he developed a market, he's about to bring that product to market. The product and the market are estimated to be $1 billion industry. $1 billion industry. If he wasn't in LA, which he called the Silicon Valley of aviation, it would be somewhere else. Well, what do you think has happened now? He's got the product and the business ready to go. They're leaving California. They're leaving California. So we have to keep those businesses here, not only because of the direct economic impact and the ability to have people working on defense projects who are experts in the field. They all live here and they're not moving. But all of the secondary and tertiary effects, economic effects of having the Air Force Base here. And I will do everything in my power to keep that Air Force Base here. Right on time. Thank you.